Hey, what's up guys? It's Team Hard Life Captain Alberto Zertuche here, and this is the newest adaptation with the Go Fish camera, and I can see major differences already. We included the new 200-pound test line below the hook as well, on top of the camera, and it is really already making a big difference. And you saw it right at the beginning, where the camera normally would teeter-totter back and forth so fast that it was real dizzy, and I always had to cut that out. So you really never got to see anything other than the initial flight through the air into the water. And right now I cast it out. I didn't get as far as I wanted, so I reset it back up, and I'm gonna put it back out there, and you'll see what happens here. But it's really lovely because, like I said, it's not back and forth as crazy. Like right now it's shaky because I'm trying to put on a bait and the wind's hitting it and stuff like that. But I mean, for right here, it spins a little bit, but it's nowhere near what it was before. So this is going to give you an idea of things to come, so stay tuned guys.
Got a lot of stress on my mind. It's a nice day to go. Yeah, I got a line. I'ma call up the whole team.
Well, as soon as it lands, the fish are there. I mean, it lands right in between them. It doesn't really hardly scare them off. They move away for a split second, then they move right back into position like nothing even happened. And yes, I do have the night light on for it, so we can see what's going on there. And yeah, off in the distance you can see there's a little bit of light, but I wasn't taking a chance at casting out today and not having any kind of light down there. And it looks like right now the light is kind of pointing toward the bottom. But two, what I also remembered that maybe I wasn't pulling it in enough to get the bait to go right in line with the camera. So after it kind of set down, I give it a few minutes, and then I started reeling in to see if I can get the line in place to be recorded with the camera. And another thing I did too, you know, obviously I got the heavy pound mono on top and below the camera. By also adding in the heat shrink, I was able to lower down the amount of reflection of the light coming off the steel that was coming on the split ring that I had underneath the camera lens right there. So now you can definitely see a bit better. And yes, there is grass, and you know, all of this is done after the fact of me casting it out. I cannot download the video immediately or see it as it's happening, so I have no idea what's going on until I pull the camera in, remove the memory chip or the memory card, and put it to the phone and download the video, and then you know, compress it so that way it's one big video instead of 25-minute videos or whatever it comes out to. And you know, it's just, there's a lot of other behind the scenes work that gets put into play, and just like you, I kind of see the after effect of what is produced through this whole, you know, step 1 through step 20 to be able to get these videos up for you. And yes, I mean, there's still a lot of the debris floating by and stuff like that, but it's not sand and stuff like that, because I mean, these fish are sitting there just swimming on by like nothing's even happening. And I don't know, there's something big there. Wasn't a perch tail. It was something that, or it may have been a lot closer to the camera than what we expected. But they are definitely tearing up the bait, because you can see the camera move every now and again. And just trying to see when I actually reeled it in just a little bit to see if the bait would get in line with the camera. So we'll see how it looks. Right there, right in the middle of the screen, going from top to bottom, you can see the mono there, and that's definitely connected to the bait. And yep, they seem to be unaffected by it. They're still having at it and stuff like that. But I know, like I said, I gave it a few minutes before I actually reeled it in some to try to get that bait to be in line with the camera, since now that I know I got it set up correctly. And one of the other reasons that I set it up like this is because the light mono that was below the camera to the hook was coming around the camera, is what got me started on evaluating how I'm presenting this camera on my leader and everything. I mean, there's so many small steps that I'm catching on to and paying attention to get the footage we want. I mean, we want to see how they're coming up and picking up this bait. We want to see, I mean, everything, how the hook is actually coming out. Or is it setting immediately, or is it when they swim away? There's a bunch of questions that are in the air still, and we don't know them. So I'm going to keep plugging away at this. And yes, definitely seeing what's down there, because at the same time too, we are fishing for a certain type of fish. Obviously, there's all these other, bait fish and strange fish that are down there that mess with our baits in the meantime. And we always, oh yeah, it's just bait fish. Now we'll be able to say, there's all these different types of fish down there, for when the kids ask, well, what kind, now you can say there's pin perch, there's piggy perch, there's puffer fish, there's eels, there's sea robins, there's a whole bunch of other fish now that we can actually give the names to, other than when we actually catch the fish. And even then too, you've seen so many fish come into camera, they do not care and getting all tangled up with the camera. So I truly believe that it's why we missed out on the good fight footage with the bigger drums that I was actually catching on the camera. Within that hour, I did 3 of them back to back, and I was so excited to finally get that footage. And I did, but I didn't, because the only footage you could see was when the fish finally came to the surface and it was out of the water, and you could see the fish tailing in the water right there, and splashing the surface and coming into the net and getting landed. Everybody sees that. That's not anything special. So I am on this quest to get the ultimate land-based fishing, bottom fishing footage that we can get. And right now is a prime time for me to do it, because I can concentrate on these fish, and that's why I keep going the big drum fishing. I mean, it's not just for the underwater footage. It's obviously I'm fishing these tournaments, and I'm trying to place, and I keep getting up there, but bigger fish are being caught, which is awesome. Kudos to those guys, because they are putting in a lot of work, a lot of time on the water, a lot of money being spent buying bait, admission to the pier and stuff like that. So, it's a tough crowd. These guys they're putting in a lot of work, and like I said, I get to see them on a regular basis, and these guys, they'll help you out as much as you help them. And they got the knowledge too to put the fish on deck. So for sure, you know, I love fishing with guys that are at the top of their game, that are willing to, you know, put forth the effort and get it down. I mean, and even the new guys that are coming on scene that are wanting to learn, wanting to get in on the big fish action, and you know, and they're asking the questions. They're getting with us, and you know, hey, what do I got to do, or how do I do it? And you know, if you don't ask those questions and you go out there and you're fishing, you can make a lot of mistakes that can really cost you your gear, your time, your money, you know, and at the end of the day, the fish of a lifetime, you know. It does help to ask questions, and obviously there's a certain types of crowds that are out there that won't help you out, but don't get discouraged, guys. There's a lot of guys like us that really love to help somebody out. You know, just get with us and say, hey, you know, getting into it, let us know what you're doing, and you know, we definitely love to see people catch fish, even if we're not, because at the same time we can get you in line with catching fish. You'll know that we're going to help you with every aspect of your fishing techniques and stuff like that. It's not just going to be setting up your leader, the right type of bait, the right type of weight. You know, it could be casting. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into a cast as to where you're going to cast, why you should cast that way, and I mean direction. You know, where's your leader going to be when you cast and it falls after the current. And there's so many little tricks that we do in order to keep our baits in place. And you know, a lot of us don't mind sharing that. We love to see other people catch fish just as much as we're catching fish. But you know, we won't know that you need any help unless you ask. So get out there, get on the piers, and you know, you'll learn real quick who's willing to help you out and who's not. And you know, we can't really do much about that. It's going to be trial by fire. I hate to say it like that, but that's what it is. There's a lot of guys out there that are willing to help, because you know what, the way I see it, and the reason why I help people, besides seeing them catch and all of that, at the end of the day, I'm making an improved fisherman that's going to be fishing next to me, you know, dozens, if not more times than, you know, I can count. But they'll know what they're doing. They'll be able to fish side by side, and if I need help, they'll be able to sit there and help me instead of sitting there looking at me because they don't know what they're doing, you know. And then that could cost me a big fish. And granted, I've landed plenty of monster fish all by myself. It seems easier when you have a crew of people, especially trying to target these monsters, that, you know, for their safety of the fish, your safety, you know, so you don't get pulled in or something like that, you know, that these guys can step up and give you a hand. And I've never seen a guy that I didn't help, or that I helped, that just turned his back and wouldn't come help us. You know, it's part of being a fisherman. You know, you give a helping hand up, and you know, you watch others lift others up to that level too. So again, for me, I love fishing with tough competition. It really does, you know, hey, let you know you did your best. I mean, if you're out there with a bunch of guys that have never caught fish, and you're the only the person catching, and they're asking for help and you don't help, you know, that's not a good thing. Me, yes, I've been out there where I was the only one catching, but as soon as somebody asks me a question, or you know, I'm sitting there passing the word, hey, this is what I'm using, this is where I'm casting, you know, that I'll pass the knowledge whether they ask or not. You know, some will catch on, and then some will learn, oh, okay, he's cool, you know, let me ask him some more questions. So there it is, guys. It's all in a nutshell. You got to put in a little bit of effort, let down your guard, and ask for some help. And there's a lot of us out there that love to help out. So let's continue on watching this video. Sorry I went on this little rant, but figured it would give you something else to think about while you're actually watching the video and seeing all these perch just tearing up my crab. And I guess this was the camera that I didn't put in line with my bait. I know I did it on one of them, but well, at least I'm on the right track. I got my line in front of my camera. Now I just got to line up my bait with the camera and go from there. But like I said, I'm stuck between that rock and that hard place. You know, I don't want my bait too close to the camera, because every time these fish are picking at it, you can see that line moving up and down, up and down. I mean, big time. It would mean that the camera would be doing the same thing. So there's that very fine line of how close is too close to the camera. You know, and then too, once that monster fish picks up, oh, that's gonna be awesome. So again, let's get back to watching this, and I'll check back in here in a few and see if we can point something else out for you. Haha, there you go. There is the crab, and it's right in front of the camera, but I think because the fish picked it up and dropped it that it got placed in that position, because I mean it's getting moved and it's right up on the lens, but it's still not the footage I'm looking for. But I'll keep it rolling and see what happens. I mean, maybe we can see that big drum come up and inhale it right in front of the camera, which would be cool, but still I want to see it from a little bit of a distance to see what is actually going on, and not just see some big old pair of lips or it gets sucked up off the bottom and then the line takes off. So Alright guys, so as I was going through the video, I got into about 35 minutes and something else started to dawn on me, and I figured the best way to show you what's happening was to actually crop that section and make it fast forward. And if you remember in the start of the video, you can see light off in the distance, and you know it lets you know that there's daylight out there. But as the video continues, we casted out this leader right at about 5:30, and here in Corpus Christi it gets dark right at 6. So right on time, as the sun was going down for us, the sun is also going down for them, you know. And you could start seeing that it's starting to get darker on the right side of the screen, because that's where the light is. I mean, that's, you know, the surface area. And at the same time too, yes, it is going pretty quick, because I went 8 times the speed to get this camera footage so you can see what's going on. But even then too, from initially when that bait landed to what it's doing now, there's all these fish that are coming by, but they're in the camera for a second or whatever. Some may stick around, but the numbers of which the fish are there are also slowly starting to dissipate. And I'm wondering if that's because they sense that it's getting dark too. They know. I mean, obviously, they should be able to tell between night and day because of the light situation. But are they going to start finding their homes, or is it the big drum coming in? You know, the predators are starting to come out. And like I said, you know, look how dark it's really gotten in the last couple of minutes of me fast forwarding this footage. It's really not giving you that right angle of the screen there to be able to see what's out there. And you know, it really does change your perspective. But now this is regular motion right here. This is the actual speed of what the water is doing and how fast the fish are swimming by or not. But again, you know, they're not all over the place like they were, you know, at the beginning of the film. And even then too, look at it, the current change direction right there too. Oh yeah. But I really want to know what all that debris is. Is that larvae swimming around? Is that what they're eating on? Because I mean, you'll see them sit there and just attack the water, you know, in a split second and then swim away. But it's too small for us to see on this camera. It would be nice if we could zoom in on it, but I think with all the glare, it would really throw off the our perspective on being able to zoom in on those particles there, because yeah, it's all glared out. But this is just food for thought, guys. There's so much happening all at the same time, and even in the last minute of it slowing down to this deal, we haven't seen a fish swim by. Oh, there's one, and it's food for thought, you know. It looked like there was another one in the background, but you couldn't really tell. Maybe they need to offset the camera, obviously we definitely want them to get a wide angle lens on there, so that way we can see a lot more of what's going on, because this is giving us a one perspective look, and it's there, but well, something was swimming by the camera light. You can see the shadow underneath it, but it's still a lot of knowledge there, and we're looking for it. And we're definitely willing to share it with y'all. So again, guys, if y'all have not subscribed to our channel, we highly encourage you to do so and pass the word on our channel, because I definitely would love to pass up the 10 to 12K mark in subscribers this year. If we can do that, that would be really spectacular, because then I can definitely get my sponsors to kick in a lot bigger and better prizes. You know, the everything going on in the economy, it has made it pretty tough on everybody, and we definitely are not giving up though. We have high hopes for everybody to get out there and go fishing, land their monster fish, and we'll keep rocking and rolling. And actually, I know toward the end of this video I went ahead and checked the bait, brought it in and recasted it, so stay tuned on that as we will keep rocking and rolling on it. Well, there's something else right there. That day it was sunny and the cloud cover came in, and you saw how dramatically it could change the effects on the bottom in comparison to what's going on the surface. Yes, the sun ain't down, there's still light, but the overcast that came in of the cloud cover really made it that much darker at the bottom. I mean, that's a lot of food for thought right there too. And you know, I'm changing out my bait because they had perched it out. There was no meat in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it rehooked up, get it casted back out, and we'll see what ends up happening. But I mean, right here is a prime example. Even with the winds, the camera is not all over the place. And there you can also see the 200-pound mono to my hook. And by putting the 200-pound mono up on top of the camera has also allowed us to get some decent footage to where it ain't, I mean, I'm telling you, you would have gotten dizzy and sick just looking at the camera footage if it was hanging there before I did those upgrades to the line and to the leader to get it to where I want it to be. I mean, that ain't bad. I'm really impressed with it, you know, from seeing it now. I did not get to see it then, and even then when my finger came across the lens, you could still see that the light was on and it was good to go. So yeah, I mean, the winds were howling out there and we were giving it all. We got to get out there and fish and catch our bait. So here it is, guys, ready for another cast to get it out there. Here's another thing I wanted to point out. As this bait is dropping in this channel, I'm using a 10-ounce weight. The camera is 3 ounces, and the bait has got to be a few ounces on top of all of that. And look how far it's dropping. It's almost a 30-second drop at least to get to the bottom of this channel that we're in. And there we are on bottom. Wow.